let's get to the topic at hand.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to say this before we bring up our special guest. Okay. I'm going to kind of lay the groundwork here. Why this is so important. Why our Keys to Home Ownership program is so important to MWR members. And I'm going to give you just some basic information. Okay. First of all, I want you to think about this. The average homeowner in the United States, according to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the average homeowner in the United States has a net worth of approximately $200,000. A net worth of approximately $200,000. The average renter in this country has a net worth of approximately $5,000. Now, guys, that should have you wanting to run out if you're renting and buy a home as quick as you possibly can. Because here's the reality of it. If you are not saving and putting money away right now, if you don't have a big retirement, built up, or a nest egg built up, and you're renting and you're paying someone else for that property, for their property, not your property, for their property. Okay. You're renting and you're not building any equity for yourself. We want to change that. We want to change that because at least, even if you aren't in a position financially right now to be putting money away or saving for retirement or doing those things, you can at least be building equity if you're already paying rent. I want you to realize that. If you can pay rent and you can do that consistently, you can pay for your own home. And that's the power of this program. When Dom said this is part of the increase portion, because we create, increase, and multiply your cash flow with MWR Financial, this is part of the increase portion of our program to where we want to increase your equity. Okay, that's what we're doing here. And so that's why this was so important to us. On top of that, it's also one of the biggest accomplishments, I think, in most Americans' lives is the ability to own their own home. I think there's so many things that go along with that, including pride of ownership, equity, like we've been talking about, that sense of accomplishment when you're able to own your own home, compared to, again, paying for something that belongs to somebody else, allowing your landlord to benefit from your money instead of you benefiting from your money. Okay. And so that's why introducing the Keys to Home Ownership program is so important. And the other thing is that the company that we partnered with and the gentleman that we partnered with, I've already said some great things about him because I love this guy. But what I'm going to tell you is that it was very important to us that, one, we worked with somebody that had an unbelievable reputation in the industry, somebody that has already helped thousands of people across the United States, okay, when it comes to real estate and home ownership and all the things that he is known for, okay. Somebody that had a ton of credibility when it comes to the industry as a whole. I can let him explain to you what he's done and some of the things that he has founded and the commissions that he's been a part of and that type of stuff. I'll let him say that. But the other thing is being with a company that could meet people where they are. Okay. I think it had to be extremely important for us because we know everybody's situation is different. And they have put together a program that literally whatever stage of the home buying process you're in, they can fit you in there and help you get over the hump. Okay, help you get over the hump. To bring up none other than our special guest tonight, our lead instructor for the MWR's Keys to Home Ownership, and our strategic partner with Certified Affordable Housing Providers, and that is none other than Mr. Lou Brown.
Thank you so much, Brian. I'll tell you what, this is an amazing
opportunity that I think we have for all of your folks. And Andamo, this has been just a great thing to get to know you and really be able to offer this to all of your great folks. We have been involved in MWR from our point of view for a while now, and we've been totally blessed by what you are able to do as part of MWR, certainly bringing that to our folks that are already in what we call our Path to Home Ownership program, and definitely have been able to give them the opportunity to improve their credit, improve their lives, improve their cash flow, and everything that you have to offer. So it's been a blessing for us to know you before you knew us.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I got to make a quick comment because you said, "Yell baby," you started saying that about 20 years ago. I just want everybody to know that Austin Powers stole that from you.
Right.
You didn't take it from him. He stole it from you. Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't think so. But anyway.
Well, listen, Lou, do me a favor. We're going to just have a conversation tonight, and no PowerPoints, none of that stuff. We're just going to have a conversation. We're going to hit on the key points for everybody to understand this program. The first thing I want you to do, Lou, if you would explain to people how your program meets them where they are. I know you have 4 phases, to your process.
So the cool thing is that when my mom, when I was 12 years old, my mom tried to buy a house and she was turned down for the loan and she never wanted to talk about it again. And as my world evolved, I was able to buy my first house when I was 18 years old. And in fact, my mom was my first tenant. It was only the 2 of us, no brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, grandparents, nobody but just the 2 of us. And home ownership was a big goal, and it was a big dream, and it was a big vision. And it was something that was really, the wind was taken out of her sails. She never wanted to talk about it again. And as things evolved, I realized that real estate was the right path for me. And so buying my first house, my second house, my third house, and on, now over 1,000 real estate transactions later, and helping many, many thousands of real estate investors all across the country know how to purchase real estate. One thing led to another. I started out as a landlord at the rent world. And I said, there's more to life than just landlording. And landlording could be a pain, really, because it's your house instead of the person that's living there. So I said, how do we get on the same side of the table with the folks that are occupying our properties? And I came up with the idea, well, why don't we give them an opportunity to buy that home? So I started out with my rent to own plan, and we would give people a year to buy the house. But what I discovered was people couldn't get it done within a year. And so we were doing extensions. People were losing the opportunity. And I said, you know what? We really need to give them up to 3 years to buy. And then during that time, they can build up their credit. They can build up their down payment. And then I got the right idea. Well, why don't I just offer to be the bank for them? So then I created another level, and that's our in-house financing program, where we give people the opportunity to eventually end up with home ownership. And not only that, we can be the bank for them. And still, those that get good enough credit and good enough down payment, they can go on to a traditional bank. In fact, I have one closing tomorrow that is our housekeeper that started with us years ago, living in one of our homes. And she's from Hidalgo, Mexico. And she's now buying that home from us tomorrow. And I'm so pleased about that. But, it just goes to show you, when you get with it and stick with it, there is truly a path to home ownership. And in our alliance with you, the keys to home ownership is what we're providing to folks so that they really have the opportunity to get with us and stick with us through the entire process. So it's, some people will start with us at the rent level. Some people will start at rent to own. Some people will start with in-house financing. And that's all going to be predicated on the amount of down payment they have to work with, number one. And number two, what they can afford on a monthly basis. So given their total household income, then we come up with what they can afford for housing. So those two numbers, it's the big fat number that they can afford with their down payment, and the second number is their total household income. Using those two numbers, we're going to determine which program they fit into. So that's just those two numbers can be used to determine which program that they can qualify for.
Gotcha. Right. And which means they could start at a rent to own or lease option to purchase. Then they go up the scale from there on to either owner financing or conventional financing, right? As they're going through it. Now,
and it's all relative to exactly what you guys help them do, which is to improve their credit and improve their take-home pay and give them a path to be able to get on the other side of what most people don't know, which is the proper way to finance their lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to add to that real quickly, because I think this is one of the things when you and I first actually started talking about this together, we were like, oh my gosh, this is such a perfect marriage because of everything we do and then what you guys are able to do on the back end. And so, but I want you guys, everybody out there, to understand everything we do, especially on the increase side of our program, is designed to help people put people back into a better financial position based on their existing circumstances. Okay, so we can help you increase your cash flow out of your existing income through reducing your taxes, lowering your bills, all the things that we do there, raising your credit scores, which allows you to lower your interest rates, your insurance premiums, your all those things that are affected by credit scores. Our debt elimination program, Eliminate My Debts, where we can help you start accelerating your debt payoff. Okay, all those things which can help you lower your debt to income ratios. All those things work together in order to put you into the best position to qualify for financing. Okay. And there's such a thing as good debt and bad debt. We do these things not so you can go out and get into bad debt, not so you can go buy cars you don't need and run up credit cards and do all this stuff. That's not what it's for. But a home is good debt. A home is good debt because it allows you to build equity. Okay. And so that's what we want to help you accomplish. But all the pieces of the puzzle to get you to that top tier in Lou's program, okay, that top tier to where you either get them financing it for you or conventional financing, our program allows you to work your way up to that. Think about it. You increase your cash flow. What's it do? It allows you to save more for a down payment. Maybe pay off a few debts to lower your debt to income ratios. Your credit scores are being worked on. All these things to get your credit scores back into the best shape possible. All these things are going to position you to be able to own that home. But I love it that they're able to help you start right where you are. Okay. And with the rent to own or the lease option. But go ahead, Dom. You got a question?
No, and I was going to say, and so when you see people not only do that, but also eliminate debt, a lot of times they're eliminating it faster than they ever thought without paying a dime more. And they put themselves in a position where all of a sudden they're able to afford more house because their debt to income ratio has shrunk. So they're able to afford more house. They get excited. And the other big thing that we do, Brian, because we offer an opportunity by simply referring others to this incredible platform, the Ultimate Cash Flow Company, it allows you to create business cash flow that starts to add your income. And next thing you know, you say, I might only be $600 a month away from being able to afford the house I want. And because you lowered my debt, you did all those things that we just talked about on the increase side, but you helped me create, just by referring a few people, you helped me create another $600 in income. Now that puts me in a position to really be able to do one of two things: be able to buy the house that I'm looking for, that I really want, or being able to put myself in a position to get that down payment much faster than I thought possible before the program.
Yeah. And I'm going to add one more thing too, because we talked about the increase portion, but part of that too, guys, is that once you do get into this home, okay, we're going to show you how to pay it off in record time.
Yeah, baby.
without spending one dime more than what you're spending right now. We're going to show you how to pay that mortgage off in maybe 5 to 9 years with our Trust My Assets, our diversified cash flow account, combined with our Eliminate My Debts program, and maybe get all of your debts paid off. All of them, not just
Debt to
your
wealth.
mortgage.
Debt
Okay,
to wealth, right?
debt to wealth program. Okay, so that's awesome. Now, Lou, I got another question for you.
Yeah.
You have some really unique things when it comes to helping people with down payment money.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Or I'm not going to give you an example. I'm going to ask you a question. All right. When people are renting to own in your program, does all that money go to the investor or the certified affordable housing provider? Or is there some of it that may be used for something else?
Well, here's what's really interesting about our very unique business model is that we do exactly what you said. We take people where they are, and then we work with what they've got. So let's say that somebody comes to us and they got $5,000, but really to be able to get into that home that they can qualify for income wise, let's say that they need $10,000. Well, what we learned is that people want to customize the home anyway. So normally an investor would come in, they'd paint all the walls, they'd make the place look wonderful. And then the buyer comes in and says, well, I'm going to repaint the place anyway, because I want a different color in every room and I want to choose my own thing and I want to customize it to me. And so I said, well, why are we wasting this money and this labor cost to paint the house when our new buyer is going to come in and repaint the place anyway? So why don't we give them credit towards their down payment? Now, so what I say that each house has a different fingerprint. In other words, that all houses are not created the same. And the condition of the houses when we find those houses is in a whole variety of things. So when our folks are coming to us, we ask them that question: are you willing to do some, all, or none of the repairs to the home? Well, it's amazing when they're willing to do some of the repairs. Well, that can include just cleaning. That could include heavy cleaning. That it could include landscaping. That could include roofing, painting, carpentry general. We don't require it at all of people, but we do give them the opportunity to do that because they themselves might be able to do that work, or they might have a family member or a friend that could come in and do that work for them. Well, we're giving them credit towards their down payment. So now I've mentioned one thing, which was cash, and now I mentioned a second thing, which is work for credit, or we call it work for equity. But then there's a third thing. They might have an IRA or a 401k that they could borrow from at, say, 1% interest. That's more money that can come to the table. And then, I call it pancaking, because basically we're building up the amount of down payment that they can have. So they literally could come to us with a limited amount of funds, but with these other items, they could build up their down payment quite radically. The fourth one is friends and family. People want to see people get ahead. They might give them a down payment or some money towards a down payment for them to be able to get into a home. So we get to count that as well. Yeah. And then maybe there is a program, city, county, state funds that could be available as a grant. Well, that's the fifth way. And then the sixth way is perhaps there's a foundation in the area that we can align with to do down payment assistance. And some foundations are owned by companies that actually the people work for the company and they could borrow through that company's foundation. Or there can be advances or gifts from the employer. So that's other money that can come to the table. So we've literally got like 8 different ways that money can come to the table to help our folks get enough squeeze in the game, so to speak, to be able to get to the rent to own or in-house financing level.
Yeah, I love it. There was one that I brought up and I needed to go back to it. While they're paying rent, Lou, I believe a portion of that.
I haven't even got to that one yet.
I know. And you covered all the others.
But what's so interesting about what Lou just said, though, Brian, and what I want everyone to hear is that just like he said, all houses have their own fingerprint because they're all different, situations are different. Every person at MWR, we know that their financial situations, like a fingerprint, they're all different. So what you just heard Lou talk about is that if you have a true desire, and it has to be a true desire to follow the program, so that means you're plugging into the MWR services, you're making that work for you, you're following the program and doing exactly what they're asking you to do, that puts you in a position to have a customized situation for you, because your situation may be very different from your friend's situation who's coming through MWR. You're doing two different plans, but you ultimately have the same goal and you end up in the same place as homeowners. So Lou, I love that.
Yes.
And one of the comments I just saw down below is, wow, you get to rent the house and you still have a plan. And that is exactly the correct way to look at this. Now, at the rent level, we don't give any credits. But at the rent to own level, as Brian is pointing out, there's one more benefit that we help to build up the down payment. So not only what I was talking about earlier is the money that comes to the table, that's, let's call that move-in money. But while you're living with us, when you pay on time and take care of minor repairs on the property, then you're earning a credit towards your purchase of the home. And so generally speaking, that's about $100 a month that's adding to your down payment when you exercise your option to buy the property. Now, that exercise of the option to purchase the property, remember, you've got up to 3 years. So you're not required to wait the full 3 years. Anytime during that 3-year period, which, my goodness, with the benefit of the tax aspect of what MWR has to offer, then they're helping people to get a nice big fat refund. Well, that refund can be used for down payment money as well. Now, you imagine that you've got that money coming, and then you're doing your work for equity credits. You move into the home while you're living there. You pay on time and take care of minor maintenance on the property, those two things. And guess what? You're earning $100 a month every month that you're paying on time and taking care of the property. And that's building up your down payment. So the down payment you already have and you've already given, that's going to be a credit towards moving up the path to home ownership, plus being responsible around paying rent on time definitely pays you to do that. So when the whole goal is to get you moved up to that in-house financing level. And at that level, we're providing you long-term financing. And while you're at that level, you can build up your credit again, you can build up down payment again, and you could actually move on to generalized, traditional, conventional financing at any time that you want to. So you're not restricted on a timeline. If you want to move fast, we want to move fast. If you have to move slow, we're fine with that, as long as you take care of what you agreed to do.
I love it. I love it. And I'm going to correct you on one thing, Lou. I know you're used to talking to the general public, and I know you already know this with our program, but when you mention refund, we don't like refunds. And the reason we don't like
you like to get them ahead of time.
Yeah, hold on. Means, again, fund means money, and that just means you got your money back again. Okay? We want them to get that every single month. That's why we do our instant pay raise program, and which averages about, and I'm going to point this out for a reason, not to correct you, I was just saying this, but that instant pay raise typically averages about $300 to $600 or more per month in an increase in cash flow for our members immediately, which offsets or eliminates the cost of their membership. But more importantly, it frees up additional cash flow that, again, if you're looking to buy a home, you now have that additional money coming in that's going to help you save towards that down payment that you need. Exactly. And you didn't have to do anything extra for it.
Right.
And, that's one of the things that we do talk with folks about, is the fact that when their money is suppressed, right, their money is taken, it's money that's not available to make their monthly payments, their monthly responsibilities on their house and their car. So imagine that they've got that extra money in their pocket. Well, I can assure you that we love that because we don't want people to struggle to make their monthly payment at all.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, Lou, isn't that one of the big reasons? Like you said, you knew us before we knew you because you saw the value of what the MWR membership was doing on our increased portion of our membership, increasing cash flow, that it now was leading them down the path. And now that we've kind of strategically have come together, we can accelerate that path and keep everybody in a very systematic way that they can ensure that they can kind of move things up to where they ultimately, like you said, they either have the in-house financing or they have traditional financing, because all these things improved in their life and their mindset about their money has improved. So then they get to be very, very strategic in everything they do.
Well, and Damo, you nailed it exactly right. And that's what's so exciting about working with you. Obviously, what we were bringing people in for was to get, because people that were coming to us through real estate agents, mortgage brokers, and just the public coming to us. We're looking at their credit and going, ay, ay, ay. Well, the next step for you is you need to get your financial house in order. And that's when we referred them on to MWR, because we knew that that is the next step really in the process. Maybe we can move somebody in, but ultimately they've got to get their act together to get their financial house together in order to be able to buy that house. So certainly it's a great alliance. We really do appreciate it.
And because those people are all surrounded by experts, they move forward instead of getting stuck, because the experts are helping direct them in a positive way. And obviously you being one of them. And that's the ingenious thing that our great CEO and founder, Mr. Brian House, has put together to make that all happen and fit perfectly.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, when we first talked, and there was quite a few people that were saying, you guys need to talk. And they were arranging things, and God was aligning, and
Right.
The whole thing was working together. And I sent Brian my books. I said, Brian, I just need you to take a look at these books. And I was just so happy and pleased that I could get those in his hands so he could see what we are up to and what we've been up to for quite a while now, and how we can really be a blessing to all your folks as well.
I love it. I love it. Listen, I want to do something real quick because we're seeing a lot of things, and I've seen some questions come up. I want to go through real quick, Lou, the process that people are going to go through when it comes to getting involved with the keys to home ownership. And I want to make sure I cover this now. The first thing, guys, is when you see this go live in your back office, okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to complete a questionnaire, okay? And this questionnaire is going to have some information on it that Lou and his staff needs in order to be able to perform an analysis for you, okay? And along with your credit reports. Guys, you're going to need your credit report through MWRsmartcredit.com with all three of your scores. Most of you will already have that if you're participating in our credit program. You'll already have your MWRsmartcredit.com credit reports with your credit scores, because when they go through and they do the analysis and you actually schedule a consultation, you're going to schedule a consultation. And when you have that consultation, you're going to need to provide a copy of that credit report along with what was submitted on the questionnaire, so that these experts can properly analyze your existing financial position and determine, one, how much of a house you can afford based on the income you have versus your debt, okay, versus your debt to income ratios. We're looking at that, okay? And they'll be able to determine how much of a monthly payment you can afford, all right? At that point, what I'm going to tell you is that once they determine that amount, and Lou, you correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff, but what will happen is you, along with, okay, your certified affordable housing expert or provider, are going to locate a home in your area. Collectively, you get to help with the process, okay, and locate a home in that price range that you qualify for, okay? So you're going to be locating a home, and preferably something a little lower than that price range if you can, because there may be some things that you can do to help increase the value of it as well, before you get in there with the work for credit program that Lou was talking about. Then, okay, once that happens, you're going to either start renting, depending on where you're at, renting to own, okay, whatever level you fall in, they will determine where you're at, and you'll be working towards getting to the point that you're going to either have that financed by your certified affordable housing provider, or you're going to get conventional financing. Okay. Now, through that process, you're saving, you're working on getting your credit restored with MWR, you're working on getting your debt to income ratios, you're getting your financial house in order, you're increasing your cash flow. We're doing all these things for you to put you in the best position possible. So anytime during that rent to own period, or up to 36 months, all right, you have the option to be able to go ahead and purchase the home. Okay, so I want you to realize that. Again, if after that 36 months you can't qualify, but you've made all your rent payments on time, you have built up equity, you have saved a down payment, okay, guess what? Your certified affordable housing provider will owner finance the property for you. I think that is a beautiful thing, to where now you can start building equity, even if a bank told you no.
Yes.
Even if a bank told you no.
That's correct.
I love it. I love it.
That's what we love, because you're actually building credit with us. If you really think about it,
Right.
when you're paying on time and you're taking good care of the asset, the property, well, then why wouldn't we love you? Why wouldn't we want to be the bank for you? So definitely, and I've got licensees of our program. They're certified affordable housing providers all over the country, and they're offering this program in their local markets. So definitely you'll be able to benefit from having one of those folks look over your shoulder, support you, look at your situation, and work with you to get into one of those properties. And the cool thing is that you get to be a member of the team as well. So you actually get to go out, drive neighborhoods that you feel that you would love to live in and that you would be quite satisfied to live in. And then you're going to bring back to your certified affordable housing provider your findings as well. So they're going to be looking for a property, and you're going to be looking for a property as well. Well, some of you even know family members that would love to get rid of a property, and it's not listed. It's not on the MLS or any place like that. You can bring that to the table as well. And we'll see what we can do to work with those folks that own the property, and see if we can make something work with the numbers in order to get you into that property.
Yeah. Lou, I got a question for you. People are asking, can we use our own realtor?
Yes.
I want your answer on this, because you and I have talked about this before.
So here's the challenge with working with your real estate agent, right? They are a buyer's agent. Typically, we have no problem working with agents. Now, I want to clarify the messaging here, because we love real estate agents. Real estate agents often bring to us people with really great down payments, and they really can afford the property. Sometimes they're business owners. The business owners can't qualify in a traditional world, but they can certainly qualify in our world. So we love real estate agents, and we love to pay real estate agents up to a full commission, depending on whom they bring to the table in terms of how much down payment money those folks have. So definitely, I want to say and give a big shout out to our real estate agents. We love them. Now, that's on the selling side when they bring us a buyer. But on the other side, when we are looking to buy a property, we want to work directly with the listing agent, not with a buying agent or a buyer's broker. We want to work directly with the listing agent on a particular property that is listed on the MLS. So remember, there's two different aspects. There's sometimes the properties are listed, but many times we're finding properties that are not listed. So we don't want to involve a real estate agent in those types of transactions when it's an unlisted property. But certainly if it's a listed property, we want to go directly to that listing agent.
There you go. I love it. Great answer.
One question was asked if they are, because we have a emerging group of that are growing and excited in Puerto Rico. Is
Yes.
that an area that we can operate in? So why don't you talk about that, Lou?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Or
baby.
see, bambino. See, baby. See, baby, right?
See, baby.
Yeah. I
All
love
right,
it.
I love it. I love it. Something else that was asked here, I'll ask you this. Let's see, I guess I just asked that. Brian asked one. Okay, yeah, we're hitting the questions that I just saw some questions that were being asked out there.
I'm gonna say this too, real quick, guys, and I already see the questions coming.
They're coming.
Okay, and I'm gonna address it real quick. People are saying, "How do I become a certified affordable housing provider?" But Lou, do not answer that question because, guys, you're putting the cart before the horse.
Right.
Okay, we're not done yet. We're not done yet, but we will be talking about that in the near future. Okay. So right now, we're going to make sure we do what we need to do on the front part of the program, and then we will move to that phase of the program. So just be aware of that. All right. And Lou is the man to handle that. I'm telling you.
And Brian, isn't that partly why we also have in our platform? And I know Lou, when you heard about this at the event at our Ignite conference in Fort Lauderdale, you love this as well. But this is why we added the diversified cash flow account, because we know that people are going to want to elevate, and they're making money. They created business cash flow. They've increased their cash flow. They want it to multiply, and they may need access to that cash right away because they may want to do some things that come up in the very near future. So that's where they can put that money and house it so it grows for them. And then when they need it, they can pull it out, but it continues to grow as though they never even touched it. So that's why if you look at MWR, it just weaves and flows and goes through a complete total cash flow creation on every way. That's why we are the ultimate cash flow company.
Hey, I got to stop you real quick. And I agree. Thanks, Tom. We're going to do rapid fire. Okay. Hey, Lou, we're going to do rapid fire.
Okay.
What about people living in low income or Section 8 housing? Would they still be able to qualify for this program?
Here's what's really incredible about the Section 8 program. Now, I'm the veteran of over 1,000 Section 8 contracts, so I understand the Section 8 program really well. But you know what's interesting in those contracts? Nothing in there says that money is supposed to be used for rent. It's called a housing payment. That says to me that it can be used towards the purchase of a property as well. So all we have to do is overcome that down payment challenge. Now, that down payment could come in from a foundation. That down payment could come in from a family member. So certainly, if they qualified for Section 8 and they can receive that Section 8 housing payment, then that could be used for the purchase of a property.
I love it. Great answer. All right. Good buddy of mine, Kevin Walls, asked a question. Can you work with new construction?
So that's challenging. New construction is sometime in the future, meaning that house is not built today. It's built sometime in the future. And so for our business model, we have to be able to buy the property at a price point in order to sell it at a different price point and make a spread in between. So generally speaking, the construction model is not going to work in that scenario.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to skip that one. Well, I'm going to ask it anyway. What about Panama? I don't think we can do Panama, can we?
When we get into other countries, it's really dependent upon that country's laws, which is a completely different country than the one we have. So we have to be cautious about those laws.
Yeah. And guys, there are no dumb questions. I'm glad you asked. If you needed to know, I'm glad you asked. So.
But I will tell you this, if I can share this with you, I actually taught my program in Nigeria. I flew over to Africa. I taught it in Nigeria. It was the bomb. It was the absolute bomb. I had dinner with the governor, the whole 9 yards. It was amazing. And they said, we will give you land. If you will come here and build and do your path to home ownership program, we will give you land. And
Oh
I
my
said,
gosh.
geez, I'm too busy. I'm too busy.
I love
But I
it.
said, let me teach people here how to do what we do. And then you guys can do it here.
I love
So
it.
I know people are also asking, because I love that too, Blue. People are asking, and I know we touched on this, but Brian, I'm gonna let you. We talked about it earlier, but I'm gonna let you touch on it. How is a down payment saved? And I know
Yeah.
Lou, you touched
We
on it,
did
Brian.
touch on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of
Well, we
touched on
had
that.
what I call pancaking. So it's
Right.
whatever cash they have plus whatever work for equity might apply to that particular property and what that person is willing to do or capable of doing, plus any down payment assistance from friends and family, employers, and
Foundations.
grant money as well. So there's so many different aspects of things that we can pancake to build up that down payment. So it's not just the cash that you have, although that is very helpful. If you have saved up a good solid nest egg, then that plus whatever work for equity you're willing to do, that's going to explode your down payment.
Yeah, retirement programs or retirement savings that you may have that may be able to be utilized or borrowed against. You also have, obviously, guys, what we do, creating cash flow out of your existing, or creating cash flow and increasing your cash flow out of your existing income. So if you don't have a down payment, we provide plenty of ways for you to be able to get it. I can tell you. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that was my rapid fire, and I know I've got something else that I'm missing. I will say this, guys. And I want to explain this. I saved this for last, and Lou, I'm going to let you finish out with whatever you want to say too. But what I want you to know is that when you do your analysis, okay, there is a $50 analysis / membership fee. $50 analysis / membership fee to participate in this program. Now, that fee is there for multiple reasons, okay? And I want you to know what they are. If you're tire kicking, if you're not serious about buying a house, go ahead and pay the $50. That's fine, okay? I don't think you'll do it, though.
Right.
I think this will eliminate tire kickers and people that are not serious about wanting to pursue home ownership. The other thing is that Lou and his staff do an incredible amount of work, okay? And they have a membership that you're getting with this $50. Yeah. But with us, you only pay it one time. Or with us, you only have to pay it one time. That's it, okay? So you don't have to pay it over and over again. You just pay it one time because you're a member of MWR Financial, which I think is a blessing. Thank you so much on that, Lou. But
you're welcome.
Yeah, and, thank you. Thank you.
One of the great things that does open the door to is that puts that person, you or whomever you're referring to the program, that puts them into our notifications and reminders. So we have a twice a month meeting, just like you're having a meeting tonight. Twice a month on the first and third Tuesdays, we have a meeting where we invite all of our Path to Homeownership clients to that meeting, members, and we say, okay, here's your opportunity to ask questions. I review the program, and I give people the chance to really just open up and ask the founder of the program anything they want to ask. And so we're able to really talk about how it works and really give them some in-depth opportunities to tap into. Maybe they have a disconnect in their mind. We all have blinders in certain areas and we can't quite see everything there is to see. So sometimes another voice can open that up for folks. So we make that available, and oh my gosh, it's a great meeting. I absolutely enjoy the heck out of leading that meeting because I'm able to really talk to people where they're at and really be able to talk through their situations and encourage them on what they're up to as well. So that's also included in the membership.
I love it. And so guys, I hope you heard that, because on his lives, when they do this, you do Q&A. You know, to where people can ask questions in regards to this. And so I think that's phenomenal, because let's face it, if you've never bought a home before and you're renting and you've never went through that process, it can be a little intimidating for some people. And so being able to have access to Lou and his team to where you have the ability to plug into these trainings and get your questions answered live online, because I promise you, whatever you're thinking, somebody else is probably thinking too. And they're just maybe afraid to ask it. But go ahead, Lou, what were you going to say?
Let me offer this as well, that part of that membership also is a portal and access to a platform that has about 40 videos that talk about becoming mortgageable and actually teaching you. And it's from a licensed mortgage loan originator that has recorded those. That's what we call our mortgage whiz. And so he's actually teaching you through that process of what does it take in order to get a traditional loan from a traditional lender. And in the meantime, you're living in one of our properties and we're supporting you through that process.
One final question, Lou, and then this is my final question, but I have someone that's a good question. When they're putting their money aside, they're paying their rent and it's now going aside, how is that money, that's the portion that's helping them add to their down payment, how is that protected? Is it put into an escrow account, or what happens there?
So it's in the contract. So it's allowed for in the contract, and the accounting is done by the local certified affordable housing provider. So obviously it's based upon timely payment. So that's how it's accounted for. It's just in their contract, and it's treated as a credit when they purchase the home. Now, often the mortgage broker wants us to use it towards down payment, towards closing costs. Right. So that account that we've had on hand, which is a credit, is really going to be paid by us towards their closing costs.
Absolutely. There we go. I love it. Listen, Lou, we're approaching, we got 4 minutes left. I can't thank you enough, buddy. And I am so grateful for this alliance that we have. And I know that just looking at the comments, I mean, on Facebook alone, we had over 750 some people at one point on Facebook, not to mention what's on YouTube. And I know this thing will end up going all over the place. The shares will be ridiculous on it, but I'm just extremely excited for what this is going to do for our members. I know there are people out there right now that have given up on the idea of ever being able to buy a house, and they've wanted one, but they have settled for renting, and they have just put themselves in this box where they think that that's the best they're ever going to have, when they could have that house, they could have that picket fence, they could have that backyard, they could have that dog now that they can't have at their apartment or wherever. All these wonderful things that go along with homeownership. And I'm just grateful that you're able to help our members actually make that a reality, that dream a reality.
Well, I thank you so much for the opportunity to do that. We've helped so many people end up with home ownership. And to be honest with you, there are scams out there. There's a lot of scams. And I'm even shocked sometimes when people come to us and they're willing, even though they've been scammed in the past, they're willing to give us a chance. And I feel heartened by that, because they can actually see through it. They can see that, hey, we're genuine, we're real. This is actually going to work out this time. So I just want to say that is a requirement. Our folks that become certified affordable housing providers do have to accept our mission. Our mission is to transform lives through affordable housing, to empower families and individuals to enjoy the American dream of home ownership. So that's number one. They have to adopt our mission. Number two, they have to adopt our code of ethics. So all of our folks are under that same code of ethics and can lose their certification, which we provide to them as some serious training they have to go through and testing to become certified affordable housing providers. So it's not playtime. It's not, here, let me write you a check and I become certified. It does not work that way. They have to go through 6 days of training plus testing to become a certified affordable housing provider. And then only the folks that are going to be working with MWR, they're also going to be, they're coaching clients of ours as well. So they're going to be supported through our upper echelon to make sure that everyone gets taken well taken care of.
Well, you know what I think we need to do, Brian? That is absolutely awesome. See, that ongoing training is the key. The ongoing support that they're going to get is a huge key. So understand, everyone, you're hearing it now, but here's what we want to do. We want to leave Lou feeling incredibly, he's already, he feels good, but we want him feeling amazing. So put the yeah baby with some fires emojis, put that in the chat now. Light it up, light it up, light it up. Let him feel it. Thank you so much, Lou. We appreciate you big time.
Yes, thank you, Lou.
Adamo, thank you, Brian. I just appreciate it, and let me know what I can do to help, and we're gonna set this thing on fire, baby.
I love it. All right, guys. Hey, on that note, we're going to end this live, but thank you so much for being here.